We are back with another edition of the Vintage House Show, the at-home edition. It's your main man, Mega, with a host and a wild array of guests tonight. But of course, it wouldn't be a show without the Vintage House crew. Joining me, hosting tonight's episode, Lauren Lowry.
Kamala Harris.
She is hyped up on Joe Biden's VP pick, as many of us are. And there are many who have some challenges with it, but it is what it is tonight. Yeah. And she's delivering fire on the DNC eve of the eve of the night before it ends. And Lauren, what are your highlights and takeaways? And before that, we've got joining us, I cannot neglect to mention, DJ Immaculate.
Surprise! I'm just hanging out.
So I did say there will be a wide array of guests tonight, including our featured guest, Mr. Vic Lavender. Someone says it's E's birthday tonight.
Yesterday was.
Yesterday, we are wishing DJ Immaculate a very happy birthday. Terry Hunter checking in. He says, hi, Lauren. I guess he did also say hi, Kevin.
So what am I, chopped liver?
Yeah, right. DJ Celeste Alexander joining us.
Celeste.
Anyone, can you share the comments,
course,
Mega?
Our loyal viewer, Reggie Davenport.
DJ Purple.
So,
hey, DJ Purple, guy, let me just say, he is like one of the most loyal supporters of our music, man. Purple, it doesn't go unnoticed, brother. He's fam, so he knows he could call and get anything for free, man. But he buys it. He buys the digital. He buys the vinyl. He posts. He supports. It doesn't go unnoticed, bro.
He is a model house citizen.
He is a model. That's a great way to say it. If we could just have like 499,000 more of you, we would have gold plaques on the walls for every record.
Indeed.
Thank you, Vince.
We need to, Vince giving his birthday shout out. He had a great show tonight with our co-host, Lori Branch. And he also had on the show watching us tonight. Oh, man, I've got all sorts of bells and whistles going on. DNC was in the background. I've taken it to the disco now, and we're just waiting for Mr. Lavender. But we were going to go to correspondent Lauren Lowry to give her report on the DNC. We are not a political show. We are a house music, history, and business show. But this is history.
This is history, and everything is affected by the political power. Certainly in Chicago, house music was snuffed out because of political concerns in this town by even the political people who are in power today. 20 years ago, they were snuffing out house music legally. So everything is certainly driven by political rules and regulations. She just finished her talk. Great points. She's saying that we're in jeopardy. She suggested that we are, without question, living in a sense of chaos right now, and she needs to bring it back to a point where people feel calm, people feel like they can contribute. She had a lot of really interesting things to say. I think someone told me years ago, if President Obama or somebody else was speaking, that we should pay attention, that we should see exactly what they are saying and see if we agree or not agree. But the fact that there's people of African descent or people of color representing the United States or representing you, we should pay attention to what they're saying, support it if we can, challenge it if we need to. But I'm very proud of her. Certainly she is my soror. So excited. Thank you. I'm so happy we got a chance to speak a little bit later, and I'm so happy that we were able to get Vic. And I look forward to everyone else's sort of thoughts about this unique moment in time.
Well, we appreciate your synopsis of tonight's, well, the whole campaign that is ensuing right now, the march to November. And it's certainly one of historic proportions. There's no question. There has been quite an outspoken contingent of the House community with regards to this election with our current administration. I know you've been very outspoken. We've chimed in on a couple of your threads. We clearly have a kleptocratic sociopath currently leading himself, and we need change, and we need it soon.
You know what? I just got a call from my father. My dad is 73. He just turned 73, and he is. Hey, wait a second. Who's that right there with the yellow hair? My dad is 73, and part of the reason why I am how I am in so many ways is because my parents were hippies. My dad was at the 67 Democratic National Convention in Chicago when the riots kicked off. You know what I mean? So like, he called me earlier, like, I just got a vent, because he deals with, a lot of people in his generation. And obviously, hey, let's talk about the elephant in the room. A lot of white people, especially from that generation, really just don't understand what the issue is. Even if they're not hateful in their heart, they don't understand what the issue is, or they're in denial, which is complicity, or so many things, you know what I mean? And he called me with frustration because he's just like, I got to vent, I got to go off. And we had this long conversation about, I don't know, to us, it just seems obvious. It just seems like stupidity. Like the people that are in denial and still support this president, and he's just obviously a bigoted racist, and I just don't understand. It's such a long conversation, you know what I mean? But we got to get him out, man, period. And I don't think Biden is the ideal candidate. However, I'm absolutely going to vote for him and hope that enough people do to where we don't continue to have this status quo for another 4 years. I mean, we're in a situation this year, in my opinion, as happens too often, that maybe we don't have the greatest candidate that we would love to have that really aligns with all of our beliefs. But I just don't think this current administration is better. You know what I mean?
There's no doubt about that. Those who do support the administration, I think, are actually supporting something else that's underlying. And that is a fear, right? This is an administration that is a fearmonger, and there's enough of this country for us to all be able to exist, and to exist with prosperity and abundancy. I mean, that is what the forefathers of the country articulated, and many people, however, living within these United States today just fear that they're going to lose something to some other group, and therefore they think that the ideologies and perspectives of this guy that is in office now are going to help preserve whatever prosperity they believe they might miss out on otherwise.
If I may respond to that, like, yes, there are, and it's crazy because anybody with half of an education understands that all humans came originally from the continent that we refer to as Africa now. And for whatever your beliefs are, genetic mutations, whatever, we ended up with these different genetic traits. And you have millions of years later, white people, right? There are a lot of white people that are scared to death of not being able to preserve the white race, and also genetically, and also preserving the white privilege and dominance that exists in the United States of America. You know what I mean? It's almost like, okay, I'm not a hateful, I'm speaking from the mind of some of these people. They're like, I'm not a hateful racist. I don't dislike you because of the color of your skin. But the only reason that I'll accept you is if you assimilate with being this way, and they want to preserve that way. You know what I mean? It's a mental illness of sorts.
It,
you know what I mean?
There is a blockage there. Absolutely. No other way to explain it.
It's more than a mental illness. I mean, it's just it's really exactly what the United States was formed to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you bring a group of human beings into kidnap, terrorize, rape, and kill human beings, and that's how you form your nation. That's deeper than a mental illness. There's more going on.
No, it's strategic
there.
too.
It's
strategic too.
People, it's more than inhuman. There's something really tragic going on there internally, and I feel like, and again, this is the formation, the foundation of our nation, and so I don't know if after 400 something years you're going to be, oh yeah, everyone's equal. We all love each other. It's great, but something's got to stop. Something has to happen, and we have to do it however way we can. It has to be done, and for all these people who are Christian people, all these people who are spiritual people, to allow these kinds of activities that go on in this country to continue is tragic. It's a stain on all religion. Okay, it's a stain on everything that we're supposed to be value in life, is supposedly morality. But if you form your nation with violence, if you form your nation with theft, with inhumanity, you reap what you sow. This country is seeing that now. Nature is fighting against us because man has always been, certainly Europeans have always been fighting against nature. Man against man, man against woman, man against nature. And now guess what? Nature is coming back. So we've got COVID, we've got superstorms, we've got climate change, we have issues, we've got tremendous concerns.
Don't forget killer hornets, murder hornets.
We've got to work together to make it happen. But back to house music.
Right. We could go all night with this subject.
So it's a great night for house music, says Chip Davis. House music interviews and talk shows. And so absolutely, one of the reasons this community is so tight-knit, I'm going to call it that, which it is because the music that has been produced is such a unifying force. It is a passion. It's a heartbeat manifested in electronic assimilation of harmony and rhythms. It is power. And so tonight we are going to talk, of course, about some of the music being created within the community. I want to be sure to acknowledge John Pierce has joined us.
Hello, everybody.
How are you, John?
I'm great. Listening to you guys.
Glad to have you back. You're also very vocal and vehement about
so many things.
So many things. Certainly our political climate.
Yes.
Well, Linda Red has also joined us, and she says, "Hey, everyone."
Linda.
Mwah, to Linda
Love you,
Red.
Linda.
Wishing you a speedy recovery, Linda. We are anticipating also having our featured guest tonight, Vic Lavender, to join us. But before he joins us, we've got special gifts for our audience tonight from particularly DJ Immaculate and John Pierce. I think Vic is coming, bringing and bearing gifts as well. But as I shared earlier, our community is highly creative and healing, right? The gifts that you guys produce of music have healing power. It has unifying power. It has power to induce and incite love. And so talk a little bit about what you guys have been working on and would like to share with the Vintage House audience.
So this song that is coming out this week is called Survivor. And I just wrote this. I wrote it actually about a year and a half ago. And I just was thinking about really us as Black people and how, everything that we've been throughout these years, everything that we go through on a daily basis in the country, not even knowing, what we'll be facing this year as far as, with COVID, everything that we're going through this year in the political climate that we're in this year. So I wrote the song about just perseverance and how no matter what the situation is in our lives as a whole or your lives personally, we survive. We get through so many things. We get through we get through death. We get through sickness. We get through so many things. And so I just wanted to speak to the power in surviving and the power in thriving and the power and the love and what makes you do those things. So I wrote those words and I was inspired. We work with a new producer. He's not new to house community. He's a DJ as well, Mr. Aki. And I heard some stuff that he was working on, and I was very much inspired by the track. And we went from there, and always working with my Tees Box family. And we came together, and I believe that what we came up with and what we produced is a really strong work. And we have a wonderful remixes, a second remix by Immaculate, and a mix by Neil Pierce, which all three are very powerful in their own right, and all three have their own energy and their own spirit. So I've been telling Immaculate the whole time, like, I am so excited about all of the mixes because they all have their own energy telling this same story. So yeah, that's the song that we're releasing right now, Survivor.
So why don't you check it out? We've got a mix from Aki Dawson and Immaculate, the OG mix with John Pierce. This is Survivor.
Follow my children's place to help me get through the day. It's a hug from my true love that keeps me pressing on, no matter what's going on. That we share weapons, so we live, we learn, we wait. I try, we cry, and try, and still survive. There's a that we share.
So with limited time on the show, man, fire. I hate to bring it down because there's another 3 minutes left of heat to this song, Survivor. But Immaculate, you put your foot in the mix. Aki, you put your foot in it. The vocals, they're elevated.
Thank you.
Man. The lyrics,
Thank you. Thank you.
They hit here. I am honored, as we are always honored, to be able to share special premiere releases with you here on the Vintage House Show. Where is this available, and when can people start to incorporate it into their sets?
It's available for pre-order now on TrackSource. So go ahead to tracksource.com, just type in John Pierce and you'll find it. It'll be on pre-order. It will probably be live tomorrow afternoon once the Weekend Weapons chart drops. So usually every Thursday, TrackSource puts out a chart called Weekend Weapons, and we're blessed that most of the Tease Box, Mirror Ball, Tease Crates releases end up on there. So it should be live tomorrow afternoon. And it'll be exclusive on TrackSource for 2 weeks, and then after that point, it'll be everywhere else that you stream your music: Spotify, Apple, Tidal, Amazon. Wherever you listen to your music, it'll be available in 2 weeks. So, much respect to John. John always brings. One thing I really love about working with John is that he always brings music with a message, with substance. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
It's music to party to. It's music to dance to, but it's also music for the spirit, music with substance and a meaning and a message. So
thank you.
There's no question. I mean, it's still always ringing in the back of my head as an anthem, right? And this is going right alongside of it on that list.
It's real expression. I know John's writing and music comes from a pure place. He's not thinking. I'm speaking for him right now. Sorry, John. He's not making music from a business and marketing mindset. He's making music from his spirit. That's how he feels, and that's, to me, that's the magic. That's the stuff that gets me excited about working with an artist, man. It's pure expression. You know what I mean?
John, your reaction?
I appreciate it. To be able to work with somebody who gets you and believes in you is very powerful. So be able to work with Immaculate and Terry and all of the producers and people who've done remixes on my projects throughout the years, I'm honored that they hear me, hear my heart, and believe in my gifts. So it's a blessing. It's a real blessing, and I'm so happy that I'm thankful to you guys for debuting it. The part that you heard for me is very important because it's the verses, and I wanted people to really hear the words. So I'm going to be doing a lot so people can hear and see the words of the song. I want them to really feel this one.
And so our audience reactions include, music and meaning that really hits the heart. We can't have enough of that kind of music. And as we shared earlier, right, this genre of house music that we all love and enjoy is definitely music of the soul. Now, of course, we're going to be vibing off Survivor for a while here, but certainly want to know what else you guys might have in the lab coming up in terms of collaborations or other work on the label.
Go ahead, E.
We got a lot coming up on the various labels, now that we have the third imprint of Mirror Ball as well. Man, got a really good announcement to tell you guys that we have the next release on Mirrorball Recordings is a record by DJ Jazzy Jeff.
No.
House joint by DJ Jazzy Jeff. So that's coming next.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
You heard it here first on the Vintage House Show.
Yeah, we're excited about that. I mean, come on, Jazzy Jeff is.
It's Jazzy Jeff.
Jazzy Jeff.
Right. Legendary. How did that come about? How did that pick up? Or
Terry and Jeff are brothers. You know what I mean? Terry and Jeff have a very close friendship, brotherhood, really. You know what I mean? And Jeff has built the community that's called Playlist, and Terry's a big part of that. Just a great community of some of the best creatives of whatever their craft is, from musicians, engineers, singers, producers, DJs. And it's a really good support system that's pushing the culture forward. And Jeff, man, kudos to Jeff for building that, because it's so important to the art. I think so many people either know of him just because of his hip hop prowess, or maybe they don't even really know that, and they just know him like, oh, that's dude that used to get kicked out by Uncle Phil on Fresh Prince all the time. They don't know he's one of the best DJs in the world. Something like multi-genre, you're hard pressed to find a dude that can have anything to say to Jeff. But he's also a great producer too. I've had the pleasure of meeting him a couple of times, and he's super humble dude. But him and Terry are like this, so that's how that came about. Yes.
And so there was a recent event this past weekend as well, celebrating a shout out to DJ Terry Hunter and his all-star epic lineup of DJ guests. Oh my gosh.
As much as I want to crack a joke on Terry, because that's how we do, like, Terry's a great guy, man. He really is. You know what I mean? Terry, he deserves it. It was his 50th, man. We were supposed to be in Punta Cana having the festival,
Imagine more music
to perform. Yeah. I was DJing. Jeff was going to be there. Kenny Dope, Span, all the chosen few characters. Man, Glenn Underground. We were going down there to party in the Dominican for Terry's 50th. And unfortunately, like a lot of things, that got taken from us with the ordeal that we're dealing with. But we made the best of it, man. We had a really good weekend celebrating our brother. And
it was epic.
It was epic. If I may, on the label side too, there's another record coming soon with Black Widow, who is, another staple of T's Box, and even behind the scenes does so much to really help. A lot of people don't know.
We know.
Yeah.
And we love and appreciate her. She's a friend of the Vintage House Show as well.
Yeah. So that's a collaboration between her and I, and we have a lot more music. Wayne and I were working on some other little stuff. He just called me today with a whole new idea. Wayne always has these.
Always have an idea.
He's a true A&R,
How would someone watching tonight's show also connect with you to, pitch a project idea, a music opportunity, you, John, or Immaculate?
Well, speaking from the label real quick, we're 100% open to anybody that has any music that they want to submit. You can send it to me at Eric@TsBoxRecords, tsboxrecords.com. So Eric@TsBoxRecords.com. Send it over. Send an MP3. It doesn't even have to be totally done. We understand if it's not mixed and mastered yet. Send it on over.
All right. What about you, John?
The same. We are the same. I'm always open to hearing, pieces of music and collaborating with new producers. That's how the Survivor record came up. Hearing some stuff from Brother Aki, and so I'm always open to that. And they can inbox me on Facebook or Instagram, and then we can connect from there. I would love to hear any and all, and we'll build from there.
All right.
Talk to me a little bit about sort of this pivot with COVID now. It sounds like you all continue to create, you're not doing the things you were doing,
right,
but you are creating new music. You're coming up with other things. How are some of your colleagues and you, how are you handling this? How are you sort of, making this time work creatively? And are there other people struggling for sort of new ideas and other things to do? What's going on with the community?
Being an artist I can only speak from the artist side of it. And I see a lot of my friends are artists because I do a lot. I do a lot of theater. I do a lot of.
I hope everything's all right. Sorry for the confusion about the link. I've put it in Facebook Messenger and on.
Kevin, we can hear you. Go ahead, John.
So I do a lot of theater. I do a lot of performing around the world, and my colleagues and people that are artists, a lot of them are just worried because we don't know when places are going to open up again to really have shows, and that's how a lot of artists get paid, touring or or performances. And so the blessing is just being a creative. You can always work because that's where that's where it all comes from, being creative. So I've just taken the moment to just continue to jot down, to write, to try new stuff. I've been working on stuff that's outside of just dance music right now, which I haven't been able to do that in so long. And so I've been just working on those kind of just a whole new sound for the future, or just for myself, and to explore myself right now. So I just took this time as a time to explore, and I think that's what a lot of artists are doing right now, and set up themselves. So if something ever happens again like this, we'll have business set up. We'll have other things, other streams of income set up from this point on. This was really, actually, I believe it was just downtime that we all really needed to just regroup. We all did. We all needed to regroup. It's hard, but we needed to regroup.
No, I agree. I agree on everything he said. And speaking even from the label point of view, when the lockdown first went into effect, I think everybody, whether it was creative or business, like we just all were in a period of uncertainty. You know what I mean? And business was really slow across the board. Obviously, the events were dead, but even in terms of like, there was apprehension as far as like, do we put out music? Do we not put out music? All of us creatives are a bit moody and emo, as I like to say. So like, just the whole situation, like most of my creative friends just weren't feeling it. Conversations I was having with all types of producers and artists were like, man, I just really haven't felt like writing or working on beats or whatever. And we got over that. A little time passed, and hey, let's keep it 100. Like stuff like PUA and stuff like that came through for people that are self-employed in the artist community, and that made people feel a little better because, hey, where are you going to get your next dollar from? As real talk, so I noticed people got back to creating. A lot of people started back hitting me up about mixing records for them. Business picked back up. We had various conversations with other label owners, as well as like our distributors and stuff like that. And the general consensus was streaming is actually up right now since people are at home, and people are still buying music just as fast on TrackSource. You know what I mean? People are still buying vinyl. So we said, let's go. So if you notice, like we took a small period, like March, April, May, we didn't put out as much music. And then the last 2-3 months, we really have been flooding more than we normally would. So, I think, even though we're still in a period of uncertainty, and like John pointed out, this taught us a lesson that you have to be prepared for the unexpected. You know what I mean? It's adapt or die in business at all times. You know what I mean? So, you can't rely on gigs as being the bulk of your income. Like, it's way too long of a conversation to have right now, but like house music culture and music business particularly is way too dismissive about revenue that comes from streaming particularly. And we make more money off of digital downloads, which is less than 10% of music revenue now, because we cater to DJs. We sell our music to a very small niche of people. Mm-hmm. And we don't concentrate on streaming like other genres, because we turn our nose up at it, whatever it may be. And so that revenue, a lot of people have said for years, like your music is really just your business card for DJing. And that's, in a time like this, a very dangerous notion, because you take away DJing, then what do you have? Poverty.
Absolutely.
So, you have to adjust and look at it like, we got to treat this differently. We have to look at different sources of revenue to plan for unexpected times like this. So I wish I had all the answers, but we have daily conversations trying to figure this stuff out.
And also, it's helped us also to have conversations about expanding to more people, so people can just want to hear this music more. It's beautiful music all the way around, not just for the dance floor. It's for people when they want to exercise, when they're riding their bikes right now, when they're doing it, motivating them to do a whole bunch of stuff. So we're trying to even, expand it more to just the everyday listener. The blessing is like we have that in South Africa and some other countries and, and things. And we do listen to house music on the radio specific days here in America, but I would love to see it as a constant thing that is in rotation in all radio shows here in America. So we're just pushing forward with it all.
So it's an interesting perspective because you guys are speaking from a label, a business perspective, right? It is a business, and that's never lost on us with the show, because not only are we trying to ensure that the business sustains, right, but we're also wanting to ensure that we are leaving the breadcrumbs for those who wish to, adopt and become a part of and eventually succeed, right, in the genre. That's SECEDED, testing my spelling there. But when, the likes of John Pierce and DJ Immaculate and Terry Hunter and others sort of move on, who's next? Who's got next? Right? So what are you guys doing besides, sharing this wisdom on this show to foster and cultivate, the next generation, we'll call it?
You know what? I'll take that first. Forget my opinion. I like to ask people of that generation. You know what I mean? I just made 45, which the crazy thing is, in our community, I'm considered to be like younger, as John was younger than me. We're considered to be the younger part of our demographic, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. And I've had conversations with young people that are in their early 20s, and it's not the music that they're turned off by. They like the music. You look at Drake took Superman, or Anderson .Paak has flirted with house-ish stuff with that Later Hathaway joint on his album. Some of Childish Gambino's stuff is borderline. You know what I mean? I think an artist like her would be super dope on something we would consider house. But I think when you look at younger people and you look at the younger consumer, they want to see the artist be somebody that they can relate to. So I think in house music, it's not so much about the producer. Like, look at the commercial stuff. Like, David Guetta is like at least 50, right? But he's super big in terms of commercial appeal. But the face of the record, the vocalist, is somebody that belongs in the younger demographic. So although I think that it's a beautiful thing that we celebrate our 35, 40, 50 and up artists, vocalists that are the faces of the records, that's music that we create for our generation, and that's great. But it's just sociology 101. Like, a 21-year-old is not going to think that a record that's produced and sung by a 50-year-old is cool. Anybody that doesn't accept that, I feel like is just in denial. The fact of the matter is, those of us that create the music, that control some of the business, you have to let the young artists make records. You have to have a 21-year-old singer, 25-year-old singer for their demographic. That doesn't mean that you don't make records with somebody that's 55. Of course, we should still do that too, but that's for our generation. But you have to work with artists that are youthful. You have to let younger producers come in, and you have to allow it to be different too. You know what I mean? House music was different from disco. It was inspired by disco, but like when DJ Pierre and Spanky made acid tracks, that don't have nothing to do with Gamble and Huff. like as far as how it sounds, but you have to allow that. You have to allow that sonic evolution. And I think, we get in our own way by saying it has to be like this or it's not house or whatever. Like, let them have their evolution of it. So I think saying all that to say, like, I'm in seek of younger creatives to work with. I don't care if somebody on here has a niece or a nephew or a son or a daughter or somebody that, I want to find younger creatives to help cultivate and allow them to have their own space and creativity and difference. You know what I mean?
Terrence Stevenson has a great comment here in that he suggests, create songs with both, that older and that younger.
That's dope too.
Right? That would be hot.
Bridging the gap.
I
Absolutely.
think that's dope too. I mean, we need all of it. It's the same thing in hip hop. Like, being an older person, Jay-Z is like 50. If Jay-Z made a new record tomorrow, Nas just put out a new record. Nas is 2-3 years older than me. I want to hear Nas. I want to hear Jadakiss. I want to hear Jay-Z. I want to hear the older, you know what I mean? But there also had to be a Kendrick Lamar and a J. Cole and like younger cats come in and they do their thing the way they do it. You know what I mean? Like, house should be no different. Like, we could celebrate the guys that are 40s and 50s and whatever, but we need them 21-year-olds too.
No, that's a great point. John, you were gonna say something?
I was gonna say Immaculate is I agree with him wholeheartedly, and I was also gonna say that I love you guys, and I thank you so much for having me. I gotta go. I'm headed into another little meeting in about 10 minutes, and I want to prepare for that. But I want to say thank you to you all for having us and debuting the song on here. People, please go out and get it, share it, and then look on my page, Immaculate page, the Tease Box page, and check for all the things that we're going to have connected with this release. I appreciate everybody. We got a video coming out, a couple of things coming out for it. And I would hope that you all check for that and share it and tell people about it. If you love it, you like it, please share and let everybody know about it. Again, thank you all for having me and having us come on. I know you have a rest of a great show. I also wanted to go back 1 second before I go and just say, because we were talking about the politics stuff. So I'm gonna just throw my 2 cents in there because I can't help it. What I would like for everybody to do, no matter what party you are part of, because I say a lot of things on my page and I talk about a lot of stuff, but my heart is there for the people. And what I'm asking everybody to do, no matter what party you go after, Republican or Democratic, to go to your party and to demand of them reform and policies and bills that benefit the Black community in a real way. We have the power in this moment to take these people. If we say we have to vote them in, if this is what we need to do for change, then they need to be working for us. So demand of each and every one of the people that you're going to vote for, or whatever side that is, to do something in this country for real, for born Black Americans that are here from that derive out of slavery and all kind of stuff. White supremacy mindset and the white supremacy regime needs to go. So I love you guys. I know that was a mouthful. I was trying to get it out loud because I get very passionate about that. And as I do about the music. So I love you guys. Thank you for having me, Kevin. Thank you so much, Lauren, for having me. Brother Emac, I love you. I'll talk to you soon. And everyone out there, thank you for your love and your support. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks for the pop in.
Congratulations, John. Congratulations on the great music.
Survivor is a hit.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And so I got to attach a comment to what John was espousing as great wisdom there.
You can jump.
It's not just vote, people. It's vote and engage. Very often, the slogans, the mantras, the push to our community is get out the vote. Yes, plus engage. It is our job, our citizenry, to also hold the elected officials' feet to the fire. Now, we certainly have to combat the lobbyists who are slinging the tremendous bags of dollars against the legislators' agenda, but it is the people. This country was built, by the people, and we do have power to influence. And if we get lazy and assume that elected officials are going to just do our will and on a whim, then that's how we find ourselves in this kind of situation. So if you ever are talking about get out the vote, you got to add to it, vote and engage. Civic mindedness, civic action is voting plus contacting your congressmen, your senators. It's so easy these days, particularly with electronic communications. You know, the politicians have their pages on social media, they have websites, they have very accessible points in which their constituency can reach them. So now I'm going to be quiet and get back to the show. That's
that was needed, though. I'm glad. I needed to hear that.
You know, I think we all have had our political statement today, and all equally as powerful. So it's important. It's an interesting time that we're in. So we have to comment on these things. So we appreciate that. We have to take action, and sometimes we don't. So we need the reminder.
Absolutely.
And so for those who may be joining us here later in the show, we were able to premiere an upcoming release on Tease Box Records, John Pierce, Survivor, produced and remixed by DJ Immaculate and Aki. And it is going to be available tomorrow, I believe, on TrackSource. And we encourage you to check it out because it is we're still in summertime, so we're going to call it a summertime smoker. Looking forward to hearing that interwoven into sets from some of the great DJs that we've had on this show. Last week we had DJ Alicia, DEEJ Alicia, and tonight earlier the Vince Adams Voices of House show had Celeste, DJ Celeste Alexander, and our own co-host Lori Branch. They're all blazing the internets with their virtual sessions, and so we're looking forward to hearing Survivor in some of those sets from the many DJs, including DJ Immaculate. I don't know, have I missed you lately? But you've been.
You know what? I've been taking a break from doing my normal I started doing a Tuesday show called One World, where I would bring in different guests that are DJ friends of mine from different areas.
Definitely seen that.
Yeah, and I just took a break from it. I don't know. Like I hate to say it like this, but I'm just going to be honest and transparent. Like, I'm getting tired of DJing in my room at home for nobody. So I kind of took a break from it. And I did Terry's birthday stream over the weekend. I did just do a stream yesterday on my birthday on Tuesday. That was for a Facebook page that's based out of Italy.
Yesterday.
House Nation Music. Yes, I did that. And actually, Wayne Williams debuted. I got to give him credit for breaking it because I think he's the first person to play it. He played the original version of Survivor on Terry's birthday stream on Saturday.
Okay.
And then I played my Afro remix on Sunday in my set.
Back to back.
Yeah, so we broke it over the weekend, and
Nice.
Actually I played the Neil Pierce remix yesterday in my stream for House Nation Music.
Now, I meant to ask John, is Neil Pierce any relation to him?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Neil Pierce is a white dude from London, as bald as me. It's funny.
Hey, you know,
It's
what
funny.
did you say earlier? The origin, the motherland, the diaspora is spread out. Right?
You know, the funny thing is, yeah, we could, you know, especially I know you're Mr. Philosophical, so I would love to have a conversation with you off the record, but
Absolutely.
yeah, you know, I'll just say this quickly and I'll leave it at that so that we don't get into a big thing over this. But like, there's some schools of anthropology that say that the term race, as it applies to the rest of the animal kingdom, doesn't actually even apply to humans. Like, the differences that we have genetically are due to So many different factors, environmental conditioning,
yeah,
genetic mutation and different things like that. But
race is a social construct.
It's a social construct, and that's the best way to put it. But going back to Neil Pearce is a great guy, man. He's a really big DJ and producer that's in London that is involved in like big events like Sunset Beat and Southport Weekender and stuff like that. He's a part of a duo called Remy Music. A lot of people may be familiar with Remy Music, RHEMI. But he's been friends with Terry Hunter for many, many years. I met him for the first time at Mikasa Holiday in Mexico last year, and we just really hit it off. And we had the original. So the original version of Survivor, as John had said, Aki Dawson had the original track, and I just kind of came in to help add a couple little things. Like the bulk of the music, that's all Aki right there, and the keyboard player that he worked with. I came in and helped redo some of the drum programming, recorded the vocals with John, finished out arranging it, and just, finished it out. And we were discussing who to have, do remixes. And Neil's name came up because we haven't had him do anything on Teasbox yet. So Neil did a version that's like, he preserved the soul of the record, but like it's a more high energy, soulful house style that I think, especially like in the UK, a lot of those DJs will play. You know what I mean? So that's how that whole thing came about.
I know very much what you mean, as my one remix was quite a hit in Europe.
The UBQ joint, right?
It was a UBQ joint with Terry Hunter and Aaron Smith,
right,
featuring Kathy Summers on the vocals, called "When I Fell in Love." The Megadelic mix. Just it hit hard in Europe, not so much stateside, but that's okay.
No, it's definitely okay. Like even in terms of the demographics thing that we were talking about earlier, that's more of an American issue than it is in other countries. You know what I mean? Like the age gap, that's a United States thing.
And
that's
so
not a thing in other countries, in other continents.
Yeah, and so the conversation we had earlier is very vital, because again, it's there's a vibrancy going on right now of house music. People call it a resurgency. I don't call it that, because house music has always been there and been a part of many of our lives. But right now, there is a tremendous audience for it. But we're just looking down the road, and you guys talked about the fact that you have to be prepared for the future. I mean, who knew we suffer a pandemic and be relegated to sheltering in place and not being able to go into the WNUR studios and host this show?
Absolutely.
And so you just never know what happens. And so fostering the future is an important endeavor, and ensuring young people are on board is important and critical.
You know what? I was very fortunate to judge an online dance battle over the last week and a half.
Oh man, that sounds
dope.
cool.
On Instagram, it's at The League Battle Online, I think. And actually, Terry was one of the judges. Terry and DJ Kemet were the judges last month. And
Nice.
me and a guy named DJ G from Brazil were the judges this month. But what I really took from it was what's dope about it is, so they pick like two judges that are both producers, and we get to pick our own records to have the dancers dance to.
Oh, I like that.
Dope. But what was crazy was like, so the dance community, like the people that submitted videos, I got more submissions from Mumbai, India than anywhere.
Wow.
Now these are 20-something, 30-something-year-old people that, because let's face it, us in our 40s and 50s ain't entering no damn dance battle. So these are younger folks, you know what I'm saying? They were from Mumbai, from Uganda, from the UK, from France, from Brazil, from the States, from the Bay Area. Like, I think a lot of people, I love my Chicago house roots and my heads that are my age and older. But I think a lot of times we're in our bubble to where we don't understand how global this thing really is with the younger people. Like these kids in Mumbai, India, love the music that we make and are over there dancing. And Japan too. Like it's big for the young people in other continents.
Y'all gotta check out World of Dance. J-Lo's World of Dance. They have acts from all over the world, and they're generally backed up by house music. They're from the Philippines. They're from all of the Asian countries, every part of Asia.
Yeah, they love
and they're killing these dance moves, and they're all very young. You're like, maybe they don't even realize, some of them, what they're dancing to, but they're throwing hip hop.
They feel it.
I'm so excited about sort of all the creative ways that you all are sort of making sure that your music is being played. So judging a dance battle ensures that your music is being played behind them. Now people from all over the world get to hear this in a unique way, in a different kind of way. That's ingenious. I love it.
Pleasure. I got to give this. It's a guy named Capella that I met through, again, Mikasa, Julius the Mad Thinker. He's a community creator. But I met this brother Capella. He's an African cat by way of Paris. That's a world-renowned dancer, and he created this platform. And I mean, it's such a pleasure. Like when you make music, and then you see like some kid from India and this girl from Tokyo, like that had never heard the music before, that's dancing to it, and they're so nice. They're so kind and appreciative and complimentary. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, I don't know. I hate to sound like a non-capitalist, but it's like that's more valuable than money to me. You know what I mean? You have people, from all over the world, that you would never expect. That, like you said, Lauren, they're going to go on Spotify and Apple and look for the songs, and they're just like, oh my God, I love this music so much. What is this? What they want to know what inspired you to create it, and it's really a dope sharing, and especially in this time where we can't travel. To have a platform like that where you can be online and share that with people from all over the world is really amazing.
We're all very lucky to have this technology. Interestingly,
Absolutely.
We would be in real trouble right now if we didn't have technology, have the ability to, at least, if we can't reach out and touch each other the way we used to at least check on each other, be able to talk and share and listen to great music. That keeps us alive, and certainly house music has kept us alive and vibrant and less depressed through this pandemic. So it's just a blessing that we have each other in music. So thank you so much for all of you that you've contributed to giving us music.
Indeed. And of course, we were listening as the music bed played, again, sharing a little bit more of Survivor, the new release on Teasbox Records, John Pierce on vocals, DJ Immaculate on the remix, along with Aki. Please go check it out. Next week, we have another special show of Vintage House coming up, the 26th.
That's a Lori show, I believe.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure who the guest is, but we will figure it out.
We'll be reprogramming in my man Vic Lavender.
Yes, maybe Vic, that would be so awesome. Yes.
What happened to Vic? Where you at?
and certainly through just some conversation, we said we had to contribute to ensuring that Survivor was going to get proper treatment in the Vintage House space. So we were honored to premiere that song on at least this talk show, right?
We appreciate it.
The mixed shows that happened this weekend, you got a taste of it. So we want to thank you, Immaculate. We want to thank John Pierce for coming on. We're going to make Immaculate. It was probably a tie between DJ Alicia and Immaculate and maybe one or two others. You know how Saturday Night Live host will count. We're in the 3 club, we're in the 4 or 5 club. I think this puts you in the 3 club. You've made some great cameos.
I need a special jacket.
I think
a special something.
I think 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5.
Because I did the one with John, right? And then I chimed in on the Carla one.
Right.
And then I did this one, and then I just said hello on the Alicia one last week.
Yeah. So 4 Club.
And me and Alicia have a track coming.
That was
Oh,
we
what
were
you
doing
guys
that.
were working on last week, right?
Yeah, Alicia. Hey, that's what we believe in over here is cultivating talent. Alicia is an awesome DJ, and she has a lot of great creative ideas too. And sometimes people just need, the technical help to bring their idea into fruition. So that's all I'm doing with her is, as Mike has done in the past, like helping her bring her brilliance into fruition. That's all.
So
Yeah.
Kevin Abdullah and Hans Sherry are on next week's show. Thanks, Lori Branch, for sharing that. We'll be joining her for next week's show. We hope that you will as well. We'll be back to our normal time slot at 9 p.m. Central Time. That's for all you global audience viewers. 9 p.m. Central. We were preempted by the historic DNC speech going on tonight. Lauren's representing there. The Biden-Harris ticket. Linda wants to know what happened to Vic. We'll get him back on. We promise. We will get him back on the schedule. And we wish everyone a good rest of the week. Happy Hump Day. Tune in every Wednesday right here, Vintage House on WNUR 89.3 FM Facebook page. Also, the Instagram, Twitch pages. I am DJ Mega, DJ Lori Branch, and then also on the DJchannel.com YouTube channel.
Wow.
All right. So, philosophical question for you, E, to take us out.
Oh, here he goes.
If you were a beam of light, and light travels very fast, what color on the spectrum would you be? If you were a beam of light, what color on the spectrum? You've seen those prisms where the light comes out, goes in and comes out a rainbow. Which color would you be?
Red.
And why, sir?
Just always been my favorite color. I don't have a deep answer for you on that one.
All right. We're going to get back to you.
I wanted to say white because that's the hottest, temperature. But then I thought it'd be corny since I'm white to say white. So red, because it's my favorite color.
All right. Well, we may get back to you for some deeper introspection. You got to do some homework on that. But, thank you again for joining us. Thank John Pierce.
Thank you.
Thanks, co-host Lauren Lowry. We missed you, Lori Branch, but thanks for digging
Love you, Lori.
Miss you, Lori.
in the comments. And Purple and Chip and Linda and everyone tuned in tonight. Thank you all. We really do appreciate you from the heart. Be well, be safe, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Mega. Share the show.
All right. Good night.